Why have SAA workers not been paid for months? I mean, it is illegal. Those who've taken severance packages haven't seen a cent either. And why is the airline still not flying? It seems a standoff between SAA unions and the Public Enterprises Department continues. The stalemate means the newly proposed airline will remain grounded until the restructuring process is concluded. Aviation expert Joachim Vermoorten joins us to discuss this further. A very good morning to you. I mean, just really horrified to hear how many people have not been paid since April, and even those with voluntary retrenchments. How can this be justified in the airline business when it's illegal?
Yeah, well, it's really a pity because no one has actually treated any employees in this manner. Some employees have taken voluntary settlements, and others have been promised work, and nothing has been forthcoming. And people haven't been paid for months. That's really, not playing the ball. The reason for this is that the total planning in the business rescue plan, which is really a payment of creditors or existing creditors, didn't take account of two factors. The one is the ongoing costs and those employees' salaries that should have been provided for in the business plan. That wasn't. And the second one was the about 2.7 billion that was required by the subsidiaries. So the 10.5 billion that was voted on by the creditors in the business rescue plan is not the same as the 10.5 billion that was taken to Parliament on the 4th of November. The difference is basically that on the 4th of November, it was submitted that 2.7 of the 10.5 go to the subsidiaries, and therefore ordinary creditors, employees, and the flying public had to take the brunt of the fall further. The reality is that not enough money has been allocated. The 10.5 is clearly not enough. And one needs to have surety, on the actual payments that is necessary. The minister himself, a day after or two after the 4th of November, said that the total amount was going to be 14 billion instead of the 10.5. But no attempts has been made to actually provide the funding.
I mean, it really is incredible, isn't it, that they've spent this amount of time and they still can't come up with the correct figures that should be there. I mean, I just want to take it down a little bit again to the sort of impact that it's having on some people. I'm hearing about letters that some of the pilots have written. They talk about losing their homes, having to pull their kids out of school, living off their aged parents, the depression that many of these workers are going through because there's no end in sight. And I'm just wondering what sort of impact it'll have on the competitiveness of pilots, for example, who have to keep flying, and of the airline itself.
Well, pilots, of course, need to renew their licenses if they haven't flown for quite a while. Even with grace periods granted by the authorities, they need to have, simulated training. And, of course, it's very unsure because the whole world is flooded with pilots at the moment due to the travelling public only reaching about 30% of the 2019 volumes. So it's really a horrendous situation, and I really think that the government should come up and actually put their words where their mouths are, or their money where their mouths are, and actually do something for the employees, not only the pilots, all the employees. So that needs to be actually handled first. Because
really
sorry,
in the meantime, and briefly, if you will, obviously all the employees have to be treated equally here, but I mean, what we are seeing is slight opening up of airspace and other airlines jumping in where SAA should be out there doing its thing.
That's good. Well, I think that the unions need to take proper industrial action against the company and the ministers and the business rescue practitioners. That's the only way, you know. The company is not operating, so industrial action won't actually work. But there's other remedies, and they need to take that and, look at the facts. And the facts are that there is no actual money, and everybody's been kept alive with all kinds of hope and speeches, and that's really not an acceptable situation.
The hope at the moment is not there. Joachim van Woerten, good to talk to you. Thank you.